All right. Hey, YouTube folks, sorry, it was a little late getting started here this morning. But again, good morning. Very choppy market today, by the way. Very, very choppy. The IWM was the strongest index this morning. It pulled back. All the indexes right now are sitting very close to support on the daily chart. SPY also went right down to the pivot point, the white pivot point right here. Here's the 8 exponential moving average right here. The 8 exponential is trying to cross up through the 15, which becomes a bullish crossover. But you've got the VWAP right here that's in the way. So it's very difficult to trade these indexes right now. Very difficult to trade the indexes. VWAP's stopping the move to the upside. So the only thing I've got right now is BABA. I traded BABA short. It's gone against me, but I'm still going to hold it short. It's a really nice short daily chart. The daily chart in BABA right now is, if you look at the daily chart on it, it's very, very bearish. Although when I took it, I didn't have this, I hadn't seen this line right here. That's a support line, a horizontal support line right there. And I need to see it get below. It needs to get down below the 156.20 is as low as it went today. But I'm holding it because I like it short. This is a pretty good short setup. You can see it's rolling over. You notice the 8's gone from white to red, which means it's moving down. The 8's below the 15. That means it's a bearish trend. Cisco is a potential time spread for tonight. Cisco potential time spread. Just looking, that was one I think that Roger called out. I think, or it might have been Maxim, the potential time spread on Cisco. BILI. Billy also is one. I don't know what the options are like on it though. Billy is a potential one. So Billy and Cisco are the two potential time spreads I'm going to look at. SPY coming back down again now. You can see BABA pull back a little bit. It's not doing it yet. Still moving up just a bit. JD, another Chinese stock, moving fairly bearish. Okay, so let me take a look at Cisco. And Billy, I don't even know if Billy's got weekly. I think it does have weekly options. Yeah, it's got weekly options. $27. This week's this week's implied volatility, 150. Next week's implied volatility, 90. So we get 60 on 150. It's not that good. 40%, just barely makes it. So Billy's a potential. And let me look at Cisco. Cisco 73s. Implied volatility this week 95. Implied volatility next week 51. 95 to 51. 44. Yeah, Cisco 46%. I think that's the one I'm going to take. Cisco. I'm going to do a time spread on it using the $73 calls. Going to sell this week 73s and buy next week 73s. $26. $26 is what the midpoint is on selling this week's 73 calls and buying next week's 73 calls. 26 cents. See if I can actually get filled to 26 cents. Not yet. Dan, SYY. Harry, get filled at 27. Okay, good. SYY, is that my Cisco? No, oh, sorry, CSCO, Dan, CSCO. Cisco. Right here. That's the one we're going to do a time spread on. I still haven't got filled on it. Quite a few contracts going through on it too, but I still haven't got filled on it yet. I cancel it and put it in again. Still not getting filled on it. I'm probably just going to leave it out there and see what happens. I don't want to go up too much. I've canceled it and re-put it in, but I didn't get filled on it. I'm going to put it here, but I'm not getting filled on it. So And I probably won't put it out to the alerts because it's unless I get filled more easily, as I'm not getting filled here. Okay, I get filled on Cisco. All right, so this is going to be Cisco. It's the time spread. So sell on November 14th. 73 calls. And buy November 21, $73 calls. Gonna be have to probably pay between 26 and 29 cents. Okay, so that's going to do Cisco. See if you can get filled on it at 26, 27, 28, 28, somewhere in that range on Cisco. And when you get a sell order, if you get filled on a sell order, put a sell order in for 10 cents higher than what you get filled at. Get filled at 26, put it in at 36. Get filled at 29, put it in at 39. Okay, that's one time spread. There's only one other one, Billy. I'm not going to take it, so this is the only one I'm going to do tonight. Okay, Baba drifting to the VWAP. Thank you, Bob. Again, I'm holding Baba as a short. It's just kind of, I don't like the price action on it on the 5-minute chart, but the price action on the daily chart is pretty nice. So I have to, I mean, if I switch over to the daily chart here, you're likely going to see quite a bit of red here. So again, I like the setup. Whether it's going to work for me or not, I don't know, because I've got them expiring this week. Russell turned, Anthony. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's trying to. The indexes are really difficult to trade right now. I'm not going to touch any of them. There's too much resistance above here, too much support below. Just can't do it. I just can't. I can't touch these right now. Partial fill at 27. Another partial at 27. Oh, good job, Elias. Could you post the Cisco trade, please? Right there. Cisco time spread. Sell on November 14th, 73s. Calls and buy the November 21st, 73 calls for 26 to 29 cents. You're getting a 26 debit. 73 calls, not 76. 73 calls. You should not be getting, the debit should be around 26 to 29 cents. You heard me say 76 call. If I did, I was mistaken. It's 73 calls. Selling this week 73. We do it at the money, all right? You take a look at Cisco and you look at what the price is of the stock. At 73, we want to take an at the money call. Sell this week's at the money call, buy next week's at the money call. That's where we're at, 73. It's actually a pretty low premium for a $73 stock. And the volatility in the what they're expecting overnight in these options is pretty high. Cisco right now has got the normal move, price move is average move is about 463. They're expecting about a 7% move tonight, so and not that out of range, but. Disney also is a good one, but except the fact that it beats too often. It beats 31% of the time. Okay, so we got I did get filled on my time spread on Cisco. Once you get filled, sell order for 10 cents higher. Okay. $12 right now. 12 o'clock. All right, so time spread's on, and we'll see where it goes. Don't forget a move today, and or not. Earnings on Cisco are 11:12, so they are after the close. Market not doing anything. I mean, this is really sloppy action here, just chopping around. Market internals are drifting up. Just flat moving in the IWM. I can't touch these. It's just not. No trend here to play with. Barbara keeps going against me. Now it's starting to pull back down again to the VWAP. Sophie trading at 31.33. Right now our positions, GLW is trading at 505. Again, we paid for that 440. So it's trading at 505, up about 65 cents. Sophie's trading at $68. Got a sell order at 75 in case we can get a 50% profit this week. All right, let me check for some more questions. I'm going to look for some more stocks for intraday trades here, maybe for some swings. Marceline, in times of what happens to the trade if it goes up or down after earnings? Well, what you're looking for, the way a time spread works, and if you remember here, you can look at the videos. All right. I have a video on time spreads. Why we do time spreads, what the criteria is to take them. There's very specific criteria, and how we make money on them. And what you're making money on is you don't care which way the stock moves. You just want it to move less than what the market makers are expecting it to move, right? That way, when the implied volatility gets pulled out of those premiums right after earnings, you can capture that by selling calls this week, buying calls next week. Now, the ideal situation, if it's going to go against us, is for it to go down, because it gives us the opportunity to at least go short later if it continues down, or go long with some different calls the next week. So that's what you're looking for. If it goes way up against us, then what happens is you take a risk of assignment on the stock, and yet we have to close the trade out. So that's how they work, and you can read about that in the video. It'll tell you how that works. Do I know about what percent of the time the time spreads are profitable? Yeah, they're 85% or more, Doug. 85% or more. I mean, I've tested these things for years, and if I don't have a strategy that's at least 80, and time spreads are around 80 to 85%. My SPY super system is running also about 85 to 86%, but the profit factor on the SPY super systems is much higher because of the fact that you're always getting in right near support or resistance, so your downside risk is minimized on those kind of trades. I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of those things, and I've done hundreds of time spreads. I've done hundreds of weekly ATMs over the years. Weekly ATMs are very profitable, all of these things depends on the stock selection. Stock selection is critical. None of these strategies are going to work if you just randomly take stocks. All right, you need to have criteria, which is why in the videos I lay out very specific criteria that you need for time spreads, weekly ATMs, for debit spreads, all of those things. There's very specific criteria that you need to make those work consistently. There is a risk of assignment. We can always close the trade, right? Yeah, no, they're on a time spread. If you get into a time spread for, let's say, for here, you get in for $29 a contract, okay? That's the most you can lose on the trade, is $29 a contract, unless you make adjustments to it. Because if you get assigned, then you can just exercise the long calls for next week to cover the assignment. So that's the most you can lose on it. Yeah, the video's on it's in my video platform on the right line. I have a whole bunch of videos, about 32 videos out there that if you remember, if you're a paying member, you have access to it. But you have to, I think you have to actually be signed up for at least a quarter to actually get access to that. You need to call Rory if there's a question about that on those time spreads. Is Sophie running here around 31.43. Still sitting on Baba going against me. Only had 2 trades today so far. Baba, which I'm underwater on, IWM, which I lost money on. But I did close out this morning American Express. I also closed out Charter for a gain, American Express for a gain. So not too bad. Yesterday was a very, very big day. So that trade we did in Schwab, that weekly ATM in Schwab, was really, really a nice trade. Okay, see if we have any more questions over here in the YouTube area. All right. Okay, I missed what you expect to make on the Cisco. 10 cents. 10 cents. If you get in for 29, 28 cents, put a sell order in for 10 cents more. So you want to buy 10 of these. I don't know how many you want to buy. I mean, if you figure it's $28 a contract, you can buy as many as you feel your risk is. How many you buy is up to your risk tolerance, as Nissy said. That's exactly right. All of these things are always like that. You don't want to put too much. Listen. Don't want to put too much risk on any one trade. We're dealing with probabilities here. All right. Trading is a business of probabilities and risk reward. Right. If you put too much risk on a trade, you're taking too much risk on your account. So that's why you don't take huge risks on any one trade. That's the it's the YOLO trade. You only live once. You put it all in there and good. You either make it or you go broke. That's not a good way to trade for consistent profits. So what is the best you can do with one Cisco time spread if you don't get out with a $10 sell order? What's the best you can do? Well, the best you can do is some of these things can go up a lot, but the point is typically we try to make 25 to 35% on them. So if it goes down and hovers around, you might be able to get 45 cents for it, 50 cents for it, but I'm looking to get 30%, 35% for it, right? Because you're limited. I mean, you're limited on that thing. If it goes up above the 73 by a lot, the premiums are going to drop way down on the calls that you sold, and you're going to be able to, I mean, they're going to go up a lot on the calls that you sold. They're going to go up a lot on the ones that you own as well. The problem is if it's up too high above 73, because you sold this week's calls, you're in risk of being assigned. Now, if you want to adjust the trade, if that happens, you can actually buy back the short calls that you sold, right? Take a big loss or take a loss on them and hold next week's long calls if you assume that the stock is going to keep going up. I mean, but we're getting into some areas where you need to be a really seasoned trader to be able to do that kind of trade. Because anytime you leg out of a spread, anytime you leg out of it, in other words, you close one down and keep one open, then you've increased the risk on the trade. Because if the stock, if it went down after you did that, in other words, you close the short call that you sold, you close that, you hold on to the long call for next week, all right? So you lost money on the short call, but you're expecting the long call to make up the difference. If the price reverses, the long call for next week starts going down in value, you've now increased your risk that you've taken on the trade. So anytime you leg out of a spread, you're increasing the risk over the trade. All the trades that I recommend here, when I do them, they're defined risk. You can only lose what you put into the trade. It's over earnings. Yeah, the only time, this is only done over earnings. Time spreads are done over earnings. That's what it's for. It's the only way I feel you can make any money over earnings is to do time spreads on specific stocks that meet the criteria. What you're doing is you're capturing the volatility crush that occurs when the earnings come out. The market makers jack up the premiums on the puts and the calls before earnings because they don't know how much it's going to move and which direction it's going to move. So they protect themselves by adding volatility to the option prices. Once the earnings are out and the stock has found a direction and a magnitude that it's going to move, they can pull that premium out of those options. And that's what we're trying to do with a time spread, is capture that volatility crush. Am I using Schwab profits for my next vacation? I don't worry too much about that, to tell you the truth. That Schwab was a big trade. I mean, that was a very nice time spread trade. Really, really nice. When they work, time spreads are, I call them weekly ATMs. That's why they're WATM, which means I'm selling weekly at the money calls, at the money puts. I mean, I'm selling weekly at the money puts. But when I joke around about it, I say the weekly ATM is really weekly automatic teller machine, because it basically is bringing in premium as long as the stock goes sideways or up a little bit. You're just taking premium. Basically, you're just taking money in every day based on time decay. All right, SPY trying to move up to the VanGuard. Again, we're in no man's land here on these indexes. Absolutely no man's land. The 8 right here is trying to cross up to the 15, but you've got all this resistance above, so we can't trade it. So I'm going to look for some other trades to take, and I'm going to look for some swings as well, but I'm not thrilled about the market action, price action right now on a swing basis. We had some nice swing trades already. We had that beautiful swing trade in Apple. That was a nice trade. Took Apple off yesterday for $2 a contract profit. IBB, took nice profits on IBB. The Schwab trade was excellent. That was $200 or more per contract on that thing over 3 weeks. That's really, really nice. And this Sophie, we've done Sophie again. We've got another weekly ATM on Sophie. We did it on the 10th, and we get out the same day for 50% profit in a few hours because of the way it moved. So we've had some really good trades this month. This month has been very strong. Hey, Ari. LPTX taking another swing upwards. Yep, about 220%. Time and sales column just shows green all the way. Yeah, it's very good. There's been a lot of volume in it, in that LPTX. I did trade it. And take some profits in it. 133 was kind of the resistance level. I get in about 115. I get out 133. I mean, it's a cheap stock. I just bought a few thousand shares, so. The next resistance on it is where is it? $215, Ari. It's all the way up at 215. There's another one in there between that though. 180. It's halted. Yep. Happens a lot with these stocks. It's always a little bit of a nail biter when you're in a trade and it gets halt, because you don't know what it's going to do. You don't know whether it's going to gap up, which you'd be happy about, or gap down, which you're not going to be happy about. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about it when it's halted. You do it with minimal risk as well. You should, yeah. That's a very good idea. Anything going on HYG on the short side? Interest rates. I mean, HYG is a high yield corporate bonds. I mean, they're dropping today. They're down, but just a very small amount. HYG. The chart's not really. I don't usually trade any of those things. HYG or short. On ITB, home construction index. I mean, all I do is look at the technicals. It doesn't make any difference what the symbol is. All right, I'm trading technicals. So here's the technicals on the home construction index, the ETF. All right, so you can see that it's been up pretty nicely here. It's been coming down, and a lot of times the home construction index does follow the interest rates, but I mean, interestingly, the interest rates mortgage rates have gone up just a bit, but the number of mortgages being written right now is pretty high. It's actually gone up, but I don't kind of touch anything like this when it's right here at the 15 and the 8. If it breaks below the 8, then there's a potential short setup. There's the HYG right there, high yield corporate bonds. Again, right here in no man's land. Is the 100, is the 15, there's the 8, resistance, support, all over the place. Technically, I can't trade them. Market, very, very low probability trading right now. This is LPTE, no question about it. There's a SPY trying to bounce again. This is really pretty garbagey action here. I'm gonna look for some stocks to see if I can find some stocks that are outperforming either way. And Baba pulling back down again. All over the place. Personally, you're breaking even at NBIS. Any thoughts on this? Is it a good idea to get out? I have stocks, not options. Okay, on NBIS. Let's take a look. I know a lot of people have traded that one recently. I don't like this. I don't like this price action here. You know it had earnings, right? It looks like it had earnings. I don't see it in here, but it looks like it had earnings yesterday. This is it's kind of an ugly chart. It's broken down. Here's your next support level right down here. You see it was a bull flag right here. And a nice bull flag, moved up beautifully, pulled to the 50 and moved up, but it's broken below the 50. I would be very nervous about this. The 8's below the 15 now, so the trend has switched from bullish to bearish. Frankly, I'd be out. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you technically that's not a good setup right now. Elijah really like the time spreads and ATMs. You know that the time spreads are non-directional. The ATMs are not. ATMs are bullish, and they work really, really well. But listen, there's always risk in all these things. Don't think that every strategy, any of these strategies is going to work every time. They don't. But if you select the right stocks, then over time you're going to make some good money on these things. Doug, I'll get you the I'll post a link into this in the question box for you here for all the ones I've got. I posted that. I didn't put it in as a link. You'll have to cut and paste that, but that'll take you to all the videos that there are. It's about 32 or 33 of them now. All right, coming up on almost 12:30. Baba's pulled back a little bit, so that's helped me a little bit, but I still need to get it down further. On Baba, again, I got that support level that I did not know was there when I took the trade, 156.85. I want to see it get below 156.85, and then it's got a nice little free fall area down to about 141. All right, let's see what else, any other questions we got here. Is there hope for the stock? X-ray? X-ray? X-R-A-Y? Is there hope? There's always hope. The question is, how much money do you lose before the hope? Now, this is, again, this had earnings on the 6th, all right, on X-ray. This is a very, very bearish stock, right? This is, I know this dense play, you know, this is for medical equipment for dentists. Look at this trend. This stock, and you see all these, you see, this is a pretty good short, to tell you the truth. It's a little too extended from the 8. Here's the 15, here's the 8, here's the 50-day moving average. Here's where we are after earnings right here. So what you've got here is you're basically inside of a channel right here based on earnings. So if I just draw a box around that, that's going to show you the earnings box. All right, so there you are. That's where you're in. You're inside of that. You're inside of that range right there. All right. So breaks above here. This is a short. I mean, this is a short. You know, if you're holding the stock, is there any hope for it? Not in the near future that I can see, unless there's some sort of a news event on it. I don't mean to laugh at you about that, but if I look at the stock technically, when I look at a stock, I'm looking at something like that. It's bearish, and it really crapped the bed on earnings. Your friend brings up BBAI every day because he keeps loading up BBAI. We know BBAI. Let me have a little noise here for a second. Let me look it over. I'll be right back. Yeah, he's doing a big bay. Anything with AI, everybody loves. Again, it's had a pretty big drop here. Stock makes a big high. Very, very, very choppy stock. He's loading up on it. Well, here is the resistance right now, 744, and then 837, then 909. The support down here at 613. Personally, I'm not touching this stock, but you know, people load up on a lot of things. I don't know what his reason is for it. He probably has he doesn't have a technical reason for it. He probably has a fundamental reason for it. Hey, Nissy, you took 50 cents in LPTX? Oh, that was nice. Very nice. Yeah, I didn't take that much. I think I took about 15 or 20 cents. 50 cents was really, really nice in LPTX. That's a good little Momo stock. Yeah, it's just shot right up to 180, which was, if you look at LPTX, that's the resistance level I had on it right there. 133 and then 180. I took it off when it went above 133. 180, then 215. These are Momo stocks. Be very careful with these things. They're very volatile. This is what happened here. This was after the gap. This was see that little dashed line? That stock was halted, gapped right up on the halt. That's what you like when you're long the stock. But I wouldn't hang around in it too long. Okay. Audio is garbled. Yeah, I got a lot of noise here. People working in the house, so I'm going to turn the mic off. Pretty good move on the SPY here up to the VWAP. Market has been very undecided. Here's the Qs, but they got a pivot point above, and the IWM still weak. Again, I got to turn the mic off. It's pretty noisy there. SPY moving up. Whoops. Sorry for the noise. Here's the SPY right here in the daily chart right now. It just got above the 682.87 right here. There's room to 684. That's the range that it's in here right now. I don't know if it's sure if it's going to be able to get up there. At 684.80, you notice that that's where it went to this morning and pulled back. Okay, quiet for the time being here. Okay, just watching the market trying to bounce, trying to bounce here. Triple Qs right above the VWAP and the pivot point, but pulled right back to the VWAP. SPY also pulling back just a little bit here. SPY a little bounce. Q's a little bounce. All right, it's about 12:45. I'm going to get ready to get something to eat here in just a minute. I'm watching our positions. Sophie right now trading at 31.30. We've got the sell order on that at 75 cents. It's at 68 right now. GLW, we're still in GLW. We got 590 sell order. It's trading at 505 right now in GLW. We get in for 440, so we're about 65 cents still on that one. Baba has pulled back some, so it's helping me a little bit here. I'd like to see it continue down. Again, it's got relative weakness to the market right now, which I'm happy about. All right, I'm going to get some lunch here in just a few minutes. Let me just look over here and talk to some of the YouTube folks. Hey, Belly, I thought I was making a smoothie. I wish. No. There's some work going on in the house. Didn't receive notification on the SMR trade. On the SMR trade, the last notification I put out was on Friday to let the short calls expire worthless and then hold on to the long calls. I have a sell order on them at 83 cents, so it's unlikely that's going to happen. I'm still waiting to see what SMR does. So the issue I've got with SMR is if I want to go short this thing, which I'd like to, but I want to take some puts on it. As long as it stays below this 27.69 here, I'm probably going to go take some puts on it. The calls for this week, the long calls for this week aren't worth anything, so there's not much I can do about that. But I'm going to think about taking some puts on SSMR sometime today, and I'll probably take expiration of next week because they have room down here, quite a ways down here. Okay, that's what it is, and I did send out an alert on that to just let the calls expire and hold on to the long calls for this week. But I'm probably going to put out another alert on taking puts on this, I think. Again, I want to make sure it stays below that level right there that I've got, the 26.79. All right, I'm going to get some lunch. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed. Thanks very much for being here today, everybody. And we'll see you over here again tomorrow morning, about 11:30 or so. And again, thanks for being here. Again, if you're interested in the room or the alert service or the software, just go to rightlinetrading.com and you can get all the info you need for it right there. All right, have a great afternoon. Trade well.